the truth behind the tariffs against Brazil. Thank you for seeing this video about true and human stupidity. Life has hit me hard, and after losing almost everything, employees, jobs, money, hope, I made this channel to tell the truth about Brazil. I'm not politically aligned with the left or the right. I believe in common sense, intelligence, and compassion, 99%. Here, I share facts and evidence to reveal the reality behind the US tariffs and their impact on Brazil, for Brazilians, Americans, and the world. Part 1. The attempted coup on January 8, 2023, after then-President Jair Bolsonaro's defeat in the elections, his allies staged a violent demonstration, attacking the National Congress, the Supreme Court, and everything else in their path. Public buildings suffered extensive destruction, with the National Congress, the Supreme Court, and several other institutions coming under attack. Despite the violence, officials managed to continue operating from secure locations and coordinated measures to contain the unrest. The military showed signs of division, but the country's top generals ultimately stood by the Constitution and upheld the results of the election.
Que é a porra do STF, caralho. Que é a porra do STF. Quem manda aqui nessa porra? Que é a porra do STF, caralho. Quem manda aqui? Ó. Xandão, sua cabeça de ovo. Aqui, ó. Seu filho da puta. Aqui, ó. Aqui, ó. Ó.
Although the militants were not fully armed, and despite international pressure, the attempted coup failed. It is clear that President Jair Bolsonaro, his sons, and other supporters incited the actions, yet they lacked the courage to lead them. They remained in the shadows, only planning to appear if it had succeeded. In the end, it did not. Part 2. Why Bolsonaro was not re-elected. He was not re-elected because he proved to be a poor manager, lacking the necessary preparation, intelligence, and leadership to govern effectively. Moreover, he consistently denied science and disrespected the very Brazilian institutions that elected him in 2018. Ultimately, his actions, decisions, and integrity led to his electoral defeat. Simply that. See a video where Bolsonaro defends his son to be ambassador in USA.
Questão do Eduardo. Vou defender meu filho. Ah, o cara é fritador de hambúrguer. Além de fritar hambúrguer, entregou pizza também. Pode botar aí na matéria. Não é nepotismo, pô. Se fosse, você acha que eu cometi um crime? Lógico que é filho meu, pretendo beneficiar o filho meu, sim, pretendo, tá certo? Eu não vou. Se eu puder dar um filé mignon ao meu filho, eu dou, mas não tem nada a ver com filé mignon essa história aí, nada.
Moreover, his mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic, prioritizing his own re-election over the welfare of the people, led him to steadily lose the respect of the population.
Teve mais de 300 mortes. Quantas mortes o senhor acha que é aceitável?
Cara, quem fala de eu não sou governo, tá vendo?
Presidente, mais uma coisa. Como foi? Os dados são do Ministério da Saúde.
Eu não sou governo.
Como que foi?
Depois da facada não vai ser uma gripezinha que vai me derrubar não, tá ok? Se o médico ou o Ministério da Saúde me recomendar um novo exame, eu farei. Caso contrário, me comportarei como qualquer um.
Tudo agora é pandemia. Tem que acabar com esse negócio, pô. Lamento os mortos, lamento. Todos nós vamos morrer um dia. Aqui todo mundo vai morrer. Não adianta fugir disso, fugir da realidade. Tem que deixar de ser um país de maricas, pô.
Even his adult children failed to help, resorting to violence and trying to intimidate Brazil's institutions.
A Folha também. Seu pai sendo eleito no primeiro turno, há a possibilidade do STF, que há uma previsibilidade dele agir e impedir que o seu pai assuma, e isso acontecendo, o Exército pode agir sem ser invocado lá, salvo engano, acho que é o artigo 1º, se isso acontecer?
Aí já está caminhando para um estado de exceção, né? O STF vai ter que pagar para ver, e aí quando ele pagar para ver, vai ser ele contra nós. Assim, você está indo para um pensamento que muitas pessoas falam e muito pouco pode ser dito. Mas se o STF quiser arguir qualquer coisa, sei lá, recebeu uma doação ilegal de R$100 do José da Silva, impugna a ação dele, a candidatura dele. Eu não acho isso improvável, não, mas aí vai ter que pagar para ver. Será que eles vão ter essa força mesmo? O pessoal até brinca lá, cara. Se quiser fechar o STF, sabe o que você faz? Você não manda nem um jipe, cara. Manda um soldado e um cabo. Não é querer desmerecer o soldado e o cabo, não. O que é o STF, cara? Tipo, tira o poder da caneta de um ministro do STF. O que ele é na rua? Você acha que a população... Se você prender um ministro do STF, você acha que vai ter uma manifestação popular a favor dos ministros do STF? Milhões na rua?
Não vai, mas...
Solta o Gilmar.
He also defended his eldest son, Flavio Bolsonaro, over the Rachadinhas scheme, pocketing staff salaries in cash. Meanwhile, he bought properties partly with £500, 600k in cash. Another suspicious case involved a Rio chocolate shop, where 37.5% of sales were in cash, far above the 20% norm, suggesting potential money laundering of 30,050k reais. The case was closed for lack of evidence, but a word to the wise is enough. Part 3. Who should be the president of Brazil? After everything I've shown you, as a manager, a dad, or a mum, would you really vote for this guy to get re-elected? Brazil always ends up picking the lesser evil for president. And of course, Lula isn't exactly a saint either. I'll explain that in another video. Part 4. The traitor of the nation. Amid all the turmoil, Eduardo Bolsonaro went to the United States to complain that his father, poor thing, was facing political persecution, and for that reason asked Trump to impose sanctions and tariffs on the Brazilian people, even though the US maintains a trade surplus with Brazil. Trump's excuse, clearly aimed at keeping Brazil away from potential Eastern powers, topic for another video, was most likely just using Bolsonaro as a pretext. The truth is, Trump couldn't care less about Bolsonaro or the Brazilian people. It was simply a convenient excuse at the right moment. The problem with this is that Brazil already had long-standing contracts covering more than 700 types of products, and overnight it all went down the drain, causing chaos in companies and mass layoffs at this very moment as you watch this video. It's not easy to find new buyers for such a wide range of products or to reallocate jobs. And of course, our so-called ambassador of the month is hoping for more sanctions against Brazil in a desperate attempt to save Daddy Bolsonaro from being convicted for trying to overthrow Brazilian democracy. Let's not forget, he himself was democratically elected in 2018 and lost because he was an idiot, stupid, and incompetent. If a traffic cone had been sitting in the presidential office, the outcome would have been far better, and it surely would have been re-elected. Part 5. The Truth for the American People and World. Jair Bolsonaro is simply incompetent, ignorant, and stupid. It's as simple as that. That's why he wasn't re-elected. And yes, he incited the attack on Brazil's institutions on January 8th, 2023, and that's why he is now convicted. Please inform Trump senators and congressmen that they are being manipulated by Eduardo Bolsonaro. He and his sons are the real traitors of the Brazilian nation. The United States has every right to impose tariffs as it sees fit, and even to completely close its market to Brazil. But doing so in an honest way would have meant saying, "We no longer wish to work with you, find other buyers. Still, we will honor our existing contracts and not leave you stranded overnight." That would have been far more transparent and honorable than the approach being taken now. Part 6. Conclusion. I tried to use as much common sense as possible in this video, aiming to be impartial in my analysis, while reminding you that I do not support the current government. The candidates I voted for have never even come close to being elected. I've had to lay off many employees, and my company will soon close down because I provide services to businesses that were directly affected by the US tariffs. The first step these companies take is not to lay off their own staff, but to cancel service contracts with third parties. And where are those statistics? Part 7. Next steps. I've decided that I will create videos exposing corruption and the misuse of public resources. If you have any evidence and want to share it, but are afraid of traceability leading back to you, send me an email at this secure address, sombrabrazil@proton.me. If you literally want to pay to watch the circus burn and support me after all this mess that's happening, subscribe and follow me on this channel. If you can help me out, I will be immensely grateful. Thank you for your time. If you can help me out, please donate anything in my Bitcoin wallet. The address is in the description of this video. I will not open any other ways to donate, and this channel will never be monetized. Unfortunately, the political persecution is severe.